Thank God I'm seeing the Thomas & Friends merchandise back in store, and guess what? It's really good quality stuff. Hello, my name's Thomas. In this video I'm going to have a very careful and close look at Metal Collection All Engines Go Duck, a very popular Thomas & Friends character brought back in collectible format without using the word toy. I have dug deep into my Thomas & Friends collectibles. Boy oh boy, I can bring up some absolute glory. And when we take a look at past versions of Duck, we're going to start to understand just how far we have drifted. I've had shenanigans going on in the workshop, and I've also been trying to find a new classic Thomas & Friends toys, and we're going to go on that toy hunt first. Very frustrating. Okay, let's do it. Warning. The warning on this video has been removed, and this video is intended for people who have a mature mindset. If you're a snowflake style of person, this video is not for you. I'm at Westfield at Warringah Mall. This is like the fourth day of me trying to find the new Thomas stuff, the classic stuff. Oh my god, I've got no idea where to go here. I'm looking for the Big W store. It's been years since I've been here, so everything here looks a bit different, mind you. There are some things here that look a bit old. Things that I sort of semi-remember from when I was a kid. Oh my god. I've just been through Casey's Toys, and well, put it this way, they had just AEG stuff. I'm not sure whether I'm going to show you what went on there. Maybe a few snippets of what I saw there. Look, it was just the stuff that we see everywhere else. Oh, but where in the frippin' hell is the Big W here? That's my biggest question. I'm getting pissed off because my iPhone is just crapping itself really fast. The battery life in this has been hammered ever since I did an update. I just keep looking around for signs that say Big W. Actually, the sign up there says Big W. So I'm sort of heading in the right direction. I'll double back a bit, go around into that side. Ever since the phone got updated, and it mysteriously updated itself overnight because I didn't want to go through the update process. Woke up one morning, new operating system installed. Ever since then, it's been absolutely bloody hopeless. Thank you, Crapple. Okay, it says Big W. I'm going the right direction. This place is a little bit like a rabbit's warren in a nice way. Okay, that's the sign I want to see, and I'm getting very close. I'm hoping the new Thomas & Friends stock is in the Big W here. I'm praying for it to be. Okay, I'm in. It's very quiet here, which is a little bit worrying, but I can see the toy area is set up sort of in the same area that other Big W's have their toy area. Okay, I've just got to scan the toy area here. Barbie's there, and I think the Thomas & Friends area is just here. Okay, yes, I found it. It wasn't too hard. Okay, let me have a scan here. Oh, I can see something I want straight away. Okay, starting at the top here, just going down nice and slow. In fact, there's a few things here I'm going to pick up, but what I came here to get, I can't see it. Oh, dang. I can tell you this is actually well stocked. Okay, well, well stocked might mean not selling. To one side is Bluey, and to the other side is Paw Patrol, and the meat on the sandwich here is Thomas & Friends, which is a good thing, I think. Although I think being next to Spider-Man is more powerful. There's one thing here I'm going to get. This is an absolute no-brainer. It's the second one that I've found. It's Duck. So now I'll be able to look at Duck properly. Now I've got a second one. Beauty. Looking at the Metal Collection pegs, I like this. There's actually a fair bit of stock here, and there's actually more ducks hiding in amongst the pegs. Yeah, I'm sorry I haven't got my light on. I can't put the light on because the iPhone will crap itself out real fast. Thanks to that manky frickin' update, I'm going to grab another duck. That's my third duck. Look in there. This will be my fourth duck. Yeah, okay. So they are on the pegs. There's one here I'll make a point about, and it's one that I don't often see on the pegs. And if I remove Kana here, it's this one here. It's Brake Car Bruno. I think it's popular, and it's a very simple reason why. Because it's essentially a piece of rolling stock. It's a brake car. Okay, that's what's missing in this range. When you look at everything else, it's sort of, well, it's just engines and stuff. Okay, so to see this here is a little bit interesting, I feel. It's a tricky one to find normally. You never saw Brake Car Bruno as a peg sitter. This one here though, this is the ultimate peg sitter. Stupid Sandy the Slipper. Initially I thought when they first came out she was fairly popular, but nope, she loves to hang on pegs. As for the larger engines in Metal Collection, there's a fair few Carleys here. You can see who's here by looking down the sides of the pegs here. A lot of James is represented, and just here there is actually an Edward, which is nice to see. It's, well, one that you rarely ever saw being left hanging around in the few retailers that carry this stuff now. So maybe we'll present Edward to the front of the peg so someone will see him. The Thomas Motorised twin packs, you can see what's here if I go like this. Okay, yeah, I've checked for Thomas's made incorrectly. They've all been made correctly, although I haven't checked for low 6 Percy's, and it's nice to see, and this is one that you don't see hanging about too often. It's the Motorised Gordon. And Extreme Trains has revealed how strange the new classic version of him is. They've got some scaling issues. Maybe it'd be prudent for me to pick up this Gordon here, because thankfully this will be run out of town, not before time. Okay, the Motorised 3 packs, they're on special here, and well, there's one here straight away, boom, I know I'm going to grab this. It's the Wobbly Cake Thomas. It was such a tricky one to find. Looks like they're coming back in the store. Mind you, if you notice here, this is the old style of packaging that has the straight edge there. The newer style of packaging has the cut in here. So yeah, I'll be getting that. Okay, the diesel I'll be definitely getting because I'm a diesel collector. It was another tricky one to find, and I'll also grab, oh cool, yep. Okay, there's another frosty one here. Yeah, under the bed investments, but hey, I'm a Thomas collector as well, so that's why I'm grabbing it. Curiously, there's a number of the Splash Tank James here. Okay, there's one there and there's 3 more here. Again, this was one that wasn't hanging around in stores when they first came out. There's a lot here, but I don't think I need any more Splash Tank James. I should set the store up and forward the stuff here since I've just pulled some stock away, and I'll do that. We'll get the Percy's selling. Hey, it seems to be a lot of those Percy's with the drum. On the bottom 2 shelves here, look, there's stuff here that we've looked over when I looked through other previous stores, and I've had my blah blah about a lot of this stuff here. Okay, behind there, behind the bluey, is that there. Okay, but what's really worrying, and what I don't like to see, this is a fantastic 5-pack, but look, as I've seen in every store, they're just sitting here. And remember, this is the magical 5-pack that has no official name on the packaging. If you can read micro printing on that price tag, it does tell you what it's called. Okay, these sets here, Metal Collection, had to think there. That's what's available here. It's sort of the same through all the stores. Hang on a second, what the frippin' hell's down the back here? Excuse me, Thomas Minis. Oh my God, it's something from, these were in Big W, and it feels like a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. I'm trying to think, there was James, there was Thomas and Percy, I think. I'd have to really drag my memory up there. And this looks like the last one left. It's a Perthy. Guess what? He's staying here. Sorry about that, Percy. And I'll just go back here. One last drag down through the Thomas cell here, getting it lined up and level. Okay, here we go. Look, it's well stocked. It's AEG-ized in a sense. What I came here to get isn't here, which has got me cranky. But also my phone's, apart from my voice, my phone's about to croak it as well. Yeah, so I'm pissed off on multiple levels. But hey, there'll be a day when I'm happy when I find that new classic stuff. Before I go from here, hopefully my voice will not cark it. Thomas Minis, I learned a little trick with these a while back, and maybe some of you know this. If you come across a box which hasn't been opened up, that is a fresh box, you'll know when someone's hunting for certain ones. I'll come in and I look from the top downwards. This one I've actually just noticed it hasn't been opened up. I've had a peek in here already, and the way these are packed is very interesting, and it may help you find ones that you're after, although they're not blind bags anymore. To get to my point, when they're packed, you'll notice all the characters, the same characters, are packed next to each other, side by side. They were Flynns. Okay, here we have Harolds. Okay, there's a Harold there. Next one along is a Harold. There, so the next one along, like a magic trick, is a Harold. That's the way they seem to be packed. As for the split of each one, I haven't got my head around that yet because I haven't got a totally untouched one. But you'll notice that. And again, see how they're all side by side? So yeah, you have to be just a bit careful. Well, you don't have to be careful. You basically got to open from the top and dig all these out to get what you want. because they're not blind bags anymore. Okay, so yeah, maybe you knew the way these are packed back in the day when you're after the really special ones, and there might have only been the one special one. It was always placed at the top of the box. Always. The Minecraft toys are on end display. There's a special name for that, and I've totally forgotten what it's called. It's the same that I'm seeing in all the stores. What's left behind is a Minecraft movie creeper. So something about that isn't as attractive as the other things. Maybe this creeper just doesn't gel with people buying it. It can be strange. The one I'm after is another Jack Black as Steve. I've only ever found one. And the wolf. I think I found one skeleton. Very hard to find. I notice here, just flipping around, there's pallets of toys coming out. I'm looking at these very carefully because you know what I'm after. Another pallet of toys coming in here. A lot of Lego stuff on this. I noticed there's a box of Tomy stuff, which is curious. I like the toy company Tomy. And what is this thing here? Okay, it's a preschool power clipper. Oh, look at that, made in Vietnam. That'll make my wife happy. This is the flip side of that one. There's another box of Tomy stuff there. I noticed that Hasbro toys, I think it's Nerf Minecraft Creeper and Skeleton Pack. It's a Nerf thing. I think it's a thing I saw in the store the other day. Okay, yeah, so you're always looking at these piles very carefully. I always take a look at the other merchandise to see how Thomas is represented, and I've done videos about the lack of that, and it was called the Where's Thomas video, and I think it highlighted just how hard it is to find other merchandise. Remember, merchandise is a very important thing apart from toys and apart from the show. Okay, I find this here. Okay, this is a clanger, and one of these things in particular really caught my attention. It's this little book here. It's for fat fingers when you're young. Nice thick pages, and when I do this here, it's got that Shed 17 element going on there. I just think this is fantastic. Of course I'm going to buy this. How could I not buy this? It's almost like the stuff of nightmares, but you know, really, really interesting nightmares. I love this. Yes, I'm gonna buy it. Woo! Okay, I've escaped the Big W. I spent a fair bit of time in there. Fantastic Big W, that one. But now I'm completely and utterly effing lost. I have got no idea how to get back to my car. None of this looks familiar. You know, I think I might have said before, it's a bit like a repertoire in here. Frippin' hell, I'm lost. Hang on a second, what the frippin' hell's this? Someone's left their phone here. Would you leave your phone on charge in the middle of a shopping centre? Just, there's no one here. Look at this. I'd leave mine here, then someone would pick up my crappy phone and they can deal with the problems I'm dealing with right now. They can have my phone as far as I'm concerned. Okay, yeah, I'm just lost. I can't see things that I remember seeing when I came in here. Frippin' hell, it's like a frickin' rabbit's warren. I'm just trying to remember what level I came in on. Maybe I should go to the lost children's area and surrender myself. Oh, I don't know, you know, I had a feeling it was a rabbit's warren when I came in here, and now I'm sort of caught in it. Hopefully I'm up the level where I was before. Just looking for something that looks familiar. Oh crap, oh frippin' hell, I've just done a big loop. I'm just doing some big breaths, just getting my mental capacity back. I'm just looking for stuff that I remembered on the way in, and that's the problem. I can't remember seeing any of this. Oh God, lost in Warringah Mall. I just keep seeing different things, sculptures I've never seen before. Who else gets lost here? Surely I'm not the only one. Okay, this looks familiar. I remember seeing that sculpture up there. Oh, I can hear the water. I remember seeing this when I first came in. Okay, I think I'm okay. I've just got to work out which finger of this place I came in on. It might have been that area over there to the car park, I hope. Okay, I think I know where I am, because when I walked in I saw Casey's Toys. Casey's Toys is there, and from memory I'm on P3 car park. Okay, yeah, P3, and I think I went up that way to the car. Oh, that was a bit scary in here. I was genuinely lost. It's a rabbit's warren completely. Now the next challenge, oh my God, now I've got to remember I parked my car. Oh, frippin' hell. Okay, Thomas and friends, Metal Collection All Engines Go Duck, potentially a thing of fantastic beauty. Before we get into Duck, I better explain some shenanigans that have gone on in here. I do believe, and I've worked this out, this elf hat that appeared at the end of a video is something that Bubbles brought in as a gift. When they were kittens, her and her siblings were playing with elves, and I reckon she's ripped the hat off and brought it in as a fine gift. That's very Bubble to do that. I've got lots of video of the kittens playing with the damn elf toy. Okay, they loved it. They liked to rip it to shreds. What also reappeared, and this is the strange one, it looks like my Thomas Wooden Railway new version, which is now going to be the deleted line, has reappeared, but it has been completely and utterly trashed. As for how it's been trashed, that's a mystery. I have tidied up my table here. It was getting very messy after some radical unboxing. A lot of the stuff there is the stuff that we've seen before. In essence, it's in slightly different positions, but a few new things as well. And there's one motorized 3-pack there. That's a really important one to drag out when I do the comparison, if I ever find the new classic Thomas & Friends motorized stuff. And that was a set that we had just prior to going to All Engines Go. It was a very jarring change. Last bit of tidying up is I'll put this stuff away. I don't think the cats need to fiddle with this silly hat anymore. I'll make a feature out of this. I'll put this Thomas Wooden Railway back in the box where I believe it came from. Okay, I've got to reach right over here. Sorry if it looks a bit dank and dodgy. I'll put the hat in like that. Okay, and I'll sneak this Thomas in here like that. I just heard something really strange in here. God, it might be one of the cats playing outside. Sounds like cats squealing to me. There we go. Sort of looks cool. I'll tell you what, that Thomas would be highly collectible. Okay, All Engines Go Duck Metal Collection. That's the new thing they strip in on this stock. It really should say push along somewhere. It doesn't say that because this is a toy, collectible that you play with your hands. There's no batteries in this, and that's a joyful thing. Teletubbies land in the background. The plastic packaging here does reveal what I call the AEG wedge, or the angle that AEG is defined by. Let's just hope they haven't messed with Duck's design, because Duck is defined by the Pannier tanks, which should be parallel on each side. It's a very, very distinctive looking steam engine, a very popular type of steam engine as well. Guess what the back of the packaging tells us? Dun, dun. But when we look at previous packaging of Duck, we're going to see why this is a huge mistake. We won't get cranky, we will get even by looking at previous versions. Okay, so we've taken a look at the packaging. The next thing to do is to unbox Duck. And I'm going to need the military grade chicken. Military grade chicken, are you ready for active service? Okay, chicken, that's where you're aiming. You ready to go? Here we go. Oh, yes, he's done it. Beautiful. Woo! Military grade chicken, amazing work. Duck is completely free of his packaging, but guess what? You're fired. I'll tell you something, when that chicken is on its game, you never mess with the military grade rubber chicken in the wrong way. Okay, next is the infamous in-hand appraisal. Okay, this is going to be infamous. There's quite a few things we're going to talk about here. What's the 3 most important things when it comes to a Thomas & Friends character? I've spoken about this before a long time ago. The 3 most important things is the colour, the shape, and the face. I'll say that one more time. The colour, the shape, and the face. When you have 1 or 2 of those things fall over, well, you start to lose the important characteristics of what makes one of the characters a character. On the back here we've got very little detail, that's normal. The cold bunker looks okay. We've got some detailings here. I've got no idea what these 6 dots are. It might be rivets just to throw on. I don't know. There's some just under the 8 there. There's a hand railing here. The details around the cab looks okay. Bit of plumbing here, which is correct for this. We've got a whistle up here. I'm just pointing out the good things before we get into the bad things. We've got the buffer beam has been painted. It defines the buffers at the front, which is nice. But the problem here is the face is just too big and bloated. Okay, the defining feature of this style of tank engine is the Pannier tank should be sticking out a lot further. They can't stick out because the face is bloated up so much of the area, and we'll start to see that when we look at other ones. The tank here, and this is a really important feature to this, is they should be parallel. Okay, it probably looks parallel, especially if I do it like this. The perspective makes it look parallel down the sides, But when I get some vernier calipers onto this, and this is where it all starts to fall apart. If I do it like this, I'm clinching there at the front there. I'm not going to look at numbers. We're looking at the caliper jaws. I get on the back. Okay, it is rattling. Go up the front again. I'm going to clinch it on the front there again. Okay, I'm nice and tight. Get down the back. That is not parallel. Houston, we have a problem. That should be parallel, and that starts to, well, that's just the AEG wedge that they love to do. It's also, I think it's defined by the cabin tilt as well. So yes, there's a definite wedge to this. A wedge is back from the front. It's maybe not as pronounced in Duck as it is in some of the other models, but the wedge is there, and the wedge really should be taken away because Duck should be nice and boxy and square, and that's what was good about Duck. Let me just bring up, I'll bring up an old ERTL, like the first version of this style of push-along type doodah, and we start to see where ERTL had it so right and All Engines Go, in a sense, has it so wrong. But then again, people will just say, well, that's how All Engines Go is. Okay, this is the new way. Well, the new way failed, as far as I'm concerned. Look at it like that. You start to really see how those tanks should be defined, although it is quite well hidden on All Engines Go. The colour in my books should be this colour here. This is more of a limey green. It had me looking online thinking, where have they pulled this colour from? And the strangest thing is, if you look online, just put this ERTL down for a sec, one of the first pictures that come up, I can't show you the full picture, is the more limey green version of this type of steam engine. I think there was the darker green, black, and this as well. I'm sure you'll correct me if I'm totally wrong. Then I looked at the model version of this, and they have got, the model version does show the same type of colour. So I was sort of thinking maybe online it was starting to look more green, but to me in real life, this is looking a little bit limey. And especially if I hold it up against the previous incarnations of this. Okay, so you can look at how Duck was done. ERTL-wise face is the way Duck should look, but then again, that's the classic look, and you know, that's, yeah, the word classic's getting a little bit abused. If I bring up, oh man, this is bringing back some memories. If I bring up a take along, you know, take alongs, because they've got the black on top of the cab was a little bit shrunken in. The curious thing to this is it reminds me that this is one of the heavier of the collectibles, without saying the word toy, and the curious thing about this Duck here is it's actually quite heavy. So this Duck here has got a parallel connection to a classic earlier Duck. We will scale stuff, you'll be surprised soon. Looking at the front here and this, again, I think the take along has got the tanks defined in a better way, but maybe you'll see it totally different to me. Okay, I'll do it like that so I can have a flash down the other side. Look, All Engines Go, look, they've tried, but in a sense they've also failed. Maybe you'll disagree with me. You know, there's just some things about Duck which are really important to keep hold of, or you know, keep control of. And once you start to break the important things away from the design, you start to lose the character. Okay, that's as simple as I could say it. Yeah, if I maybe do it like that, you can see there. But which one does your eye go to thinking, which one's the more defined Duck? I think maybe a lot of you are looking up here at the learning curve, which became Take and Play. I don't think Duck was in Thomas the Adventures toys. Maybe you'll correct me on that. I will bring up, well, a Duck that I converted. We won't talk about why I converted it. I put it to HOOO wheels, okay, which is one of the beauties of the ERTLs. That's an ERTL toy there, and it's got its funnel. This one hasn't been totally, you know, Thomas loved to death. But again, you can just see just how good it used to be and how different it was back in the day. You know, that's what was so beautiful about the ERTLs. They had really, really good looking collectibles, without using that dank word toy. Which one do you look at here? Which face do you look at? I think it's that ERTL there. That's what I'm looking at. Yeah, so this here, it's got, I don't understand why they've fiddled and diddled with the Pannier Tank and taken the parallel lines that should be there away. If the parallel lines were here, you know what, it would look a lot better. If these tanks were stuck out just a little bit further, which is a really, really important feature to this train, this type of locomotive, that would be a thumbs up, but of course we're bound by this bloated AEG face, which really starts to set up the rest of the failures along the design. Look, maybe I've been too tough here, maybe you'll see it totally differently to me. Colour's a really important thing. It can be perceived differently by different people. There's All Engines Go Duck. I'll bring in Take Along Duck and you'll start to see the difference in green going on here. Next I'll bring in ERTL Duck. Really, ERTL is quite similar to Take Along. And what All Engines Go Duck reminded me of was Take and Play Luke. But even then, it's not the same sort of green, but I just feel the green of Duck in All Engines Go, it's not the right green. Let's talk weight. All Engines Go Thomas comes in at 51 grams. All Engines Go Duck comes in at 79 grams. It's a fair bit heavier, but that's a lightweight compared to Take Along Duck that came in at 118 grams. When that one hit your face, you never forgot about it. You're wondering about ERTL, aren't you? I've got an ERTL here, but the funnel is missing. That comes in at a lightweight 69 grams. Okay, now I'm going to talk about previous incarnations of Duck and how the packaging was done. This is going to blow your mind. Okay, classic ERTL Duck. I'll just say licensing details early 90s, best way to say it. Look, Duck's in Teletubby land there as well. Some things have not changed, but when we take a look at the back here, we're going to have a bit of a chat of what's said here. Okay, this is what's missing from today's Thomas & Friends stuff. This is really important. You can cut along here and this would become a collector's card. On this side you've got the old Thomas & Friends cloud and the old typeface, and it reads on here, Duck, whose real name is Montague, is a cheerful, busy character, and then you can read on and says he won't take nonsense from the larger engines. On the other side here, it talks about an historical note. Duck is based on a 060 Pannier Tank of the 5700 class, designed for branch line and passenger goods work. You can read more if you want, but this needs to come back. This is really important. Underneath the beautiful collector's card there, we will zoom in to see what other characters are available. Ooh, yeah, okay, your Steam Team over here in a sense of Toby tucked in underneath. Over here, Troublesome Truck Pack was fantastic. Diesel was beautiful back then. These are all beautiful. We've got Boko, Daisy, Bulgy. Wow, if only we could go back in time and get all this stuff again. The selection of ERTLs went on to be much bigger than this, and this is a made in China Duck. Okay, it just says licensed to early 90s. I think it said 93. I've got some other ERTL glory here. It's worthwhile looking at because I dug into a box and found this. Sodor mail coaches. It was just beautiful. Often the rolling stock was in pairs. Might be an idea for today's Mattel to think about that. Defuse it. The gunpowder wagons, again, beautiful. I remember buying a lot of these. I wonder why. Look at the range there. Up to 63 items. Oh, Rusty. Imagine how much Rusty would pull on eBay these days. Isn't it beautiful? And wow, I can feel the weight in that. It always looked exactly like what you saw on the show. Okay, Henry's log car. And the logs looked like real logs. It looked really nice. Okay, 16. Just stuff a lot of people would have forgotten about. You know? And I always thought this was the one which was the saddest one in the sense. It was Bluebell. Imagine looking like the most famous engine. That is Thomas, but you got no face. Geez, I'd be pissed off. I'd want to blow up the world if I was like that. And on the back here again, you can see the range went right out to 63, and number 63 was actually Bluebell. I noticed Bluebell's licensed in 1999. I'm not sure whether it went past Bluebell to collect. There were certain lines of this product that we never saw in Australia, but boy oh boy, when you take a look at what's here now, you think, how in the hell did we drift so far away from the good stuff? After ERTL came Take Along. It was a hard, jarring change, but we ended up loving Take Alongs. They came with a collector's card made by Learning Curve, and what I liked about the packaging here was very simple, was you could see that side of what you were buying and you could flip it around and also see the other side. Very important to do. And then you had a little picture there to entice you to buying more things. Noticing all the playsets had little handles on them because of the Take Along feature, and it's funny, what I noticed on this now, I didn't notice back in the day, is one of the handles is up here, right there. But hey, you know, Take Along Duck, nothing wrong with it. After Take Alongs came Take and Play. These are made by Mattel. I've still got the price tickets here. There's an extra sticker here as well. These were a little bit different. These were lighter than the Take Alongs. They kept the same smart magnet system. Look at the price of this duck here, $14.95. It's licensed to 2013. How much did I pay for the duck we're looking at in this video? $6. Wow, so how in the hell can this be $6 and this one here be nearly $15? Essentially the same toy. Oops, collectible. I'll get flagged if I say toy too much. The back of the packaging look like this. That's what we've got to get back to. A reminder of the smart magnet system, but that got whittled away over time. Yeah, these were, well, there's a couple of changes that have taken place. We won't get too heavily involved in the changes, but they got whittled down. Now this one here was slightly cheaper. It says, well, $12.95. Let's call that $13. And there was this thing here, you could get a sticker if you peeled this up. There's a sticker in there, plus some teas to get a silver Thomas. But these never came out of the box for one very, very simple reason. That's because I always had a number of the take-along ducks hanging about. So we never really got into the take and plays. In my diggings for duck, I came across this piece here. It's all ERTL stuff. It says safe from scrap. I believe there was a steam tractor on this. I think it was Trevor. Oh God, if I'm wrong, I'm going to get into lots of trouble. I can't find the Trevor that was on this. It'd probably be worth a lot more money if it was sent back to original condition rather than my hack. This is one I did for some project I sort of want to forget about. It had the skids put on it, which was my cheat, my early cheat to get this running on HOO track, but it was bound by straights. I couldn't go around curves. It's weird fiddling with this. I remember asking Mum for a fine chain. I was having trouble finding a chain, and I believe this was one of Mum's chains from her glasses that went round to stop your glasses from falling off. You could sort of hang them around your neck. I think that's where that's from. It's weird how you bring something out and you start to remember little strange details, but there's a lot of things I want to forget about as well. So as for why I did this, that's the part I can't remember. It does come apart, but it's weird. I look at this and I looked at the skids and that brought back memories. I saw the chain, that brought back memories. As for why I put duck on the safe from scrap Trevor wagon, was it Trevor? God, I hope it was. I can't remember why, unless it was just something that sit in the background. Later on, when I tried to do that infamous project again, I decided to chop off all the original wheels and put HOO wheel sets. I did two ducks, and I sort of can't remember why I did two. I think I had a twins theme running. Okay, a lot of twos of everything, which sort of gets back to the Bluebell Thomas thing, because they're sort of like twins, but one's very famous and the other one's, well, no one knows about. Yeah, I hope that explains it. I'm sure you can think outside the square there. But yeah, these actually ran pretty good on HOO track. I always converted the couplers from I chopped the couplers off the front because I thought it looked a bit daggy. I kept the couplings on the rear. Okay, but the couplings on these were pretty lackluster. The original wheels and the couplers were not much chopped. And just thinking of original wheels, I did find another duck in my diggings here, and I've got one which has got the funnel missing that we've already seen, and I found another one with a funnel, and these have got the original wheel sets. And it just flashes back to me what I liked and disliked about ERTLs. I liked the way they looked. To me, they looked perfect. You couldn't fault the way they looked. But the front coupling sort of stuck out a bit too much for me, and that's why I'll do a sneaky shot here. I'll hold these two like this, and I'll bring up one of the ones I converted like this. And if I do that, you can just see I think it looks better when the front coupling's been taken away, just in a visual sense. I don't know, maybe I was seeing it all wrong. But yeah, it's, when I look at these classic ERTL ducks, and what I like about this is they've got a lot of Thomas love going on here. So that really says it all. If I see toys that are in pristine condition and I know they've been through a home, well, I think, well, that toy definitely hasn't been appreciated. When stuff has been banged around like this, that speaks volumes to me about just how good the toy was. Oops, I mean collectible. The fact these new ducks appeared made me go through and find all the older ducks that I've had. Mind you, duck is missing in certain Thomas & Friends toy lines, and I think I mentioned Adventures before, and there's the strange variations that came as the take and plays changed over time as well. I just put the ones that we don't need to see anymore back away in the box. Okay, next comes Duck on the turntable, and I'm going to add to Duck something to give him some purpose, and I spoke about this in the store. I'm going to give Duck a bit of rolling stock. I'm going to give him brake car Bruno, and I'm also going to rip open this Ashima. I'm not interested in Ashima at all, but I'm interested in a little piece of rolling stock there. I'll classify this rolling stock as being the right scale to Ashima and this type of Metal Collection doodah. There's a strange thing going on with this Thomas stuff now, because it all runs on the same tracks, although the motorised rolling stock is too large a scale really to look good or look correct with this scale, the smaller scale of stuff. Bruno will also help in doing stuff, and I learned a lot when I did a study of the Christmas stock, talking to people buying this stuff, and they spoke about certain ranges having very little rolling stock, and it really made me think about what's missing. Yeah, essentially it's stuff like that's missing, and stuff like this. If I could just drag up the piece of rolling stock, yeah, so these are really, really important bits of gear if you want to have your fun. To illustrate the scaling issue, here's a motorised piece of rolling stock. I can connect that there, runs on the same track. Do you think that looks correct? Is that the right scale for Duck? Or I can put on Ashima's piece of rolling stock. It's the same track it runs on, the same connection on the back of Duck there. Now, do you think that looks correct? I know which one I think looks correct, and it's the one that's on screen right now. Okay, I think that looks really nice, and I can make these look like they're powered, even though these are a push-along type collectible. And I've got a very secret special thing called the Thing with No Name. Imagine if Mattel released the Thing with No Name as something to work with this. Wouldn't that be magical? Can you imagine if that happened? I guarantee you one thing, it's ever going to happen. Okay, looks like Duck has certainly taken charge here. He is powering. Okay, I do a pass like this. It looks beautiful, like the way the wheels spin. Can't keep your eyes off that one. Yeah, just going over the back of the turntable at the moment. The turntable's behaving itself, which is nice. Try and get a nice low shot here of them going by. Keeping it low. And that's when it all starts to go the other way now. I don't know why this happens, but it does. It's going to come back on me, doing a reverse. Okay, there's Duck going backwards, isn't he special? Look, it looks pretty good. You know, I'm sort of surprised Duck came back. I thought he was down and out for the count. I can sort of cheat that, but I'm only going to do it once. Okay? Because I'm feeling stupid and dangerous, I can also do this as well. I'm not sure how long this is going to last. Okay, let's take along Duck. And it doesn't want to work on this track because it's not designed for this track. Trying to play with all engines go Duck. And it's really putting the grinder on the turntable. Oh, it's really minced up between the tracks there. It's looking not very pretty at all. Yeah, you don't see that on YouTube every day. That's what I should be saying. And of course Duck has just crashed. Duck is down. The Duck is down. Okay, it's looking very nice, but let me shoot some slow motion of Duck because I'm sure that's going to look awesome. I can't see how Duck is incorporated in All Engines Go because for me it's behind a paywall and I'm certainly not going to pay to watch that. If you go back and want to understand how Duck was introduced in the classic sense, you can go right back to Series 2 of the TV series, and it's an episode called Duck Takes Charge. It's based off the Railway Series book Percy the Small Engine. To cut a long story short, although it's a very short, concise story, the Fat Controller introduces Duck to the railways to assist Percy. Now initially Percy thinks, oh, am I going to be sent to scrap? It's a bad thing when another engine is being brought in to assist you. But in the end, Duck gets a lot of harassment from the larger engines. It's a bit of quite a good look. It's a very good episode. I'll just say very good because there's a lot of emotion going on between the engines, and the bigger engines can play very dirty. But to cut a long story short, in the end, Duck and Percy form an alliance and they pull a prank against the bigger engine, stopping them from getting into the sheds. That really annoys them after a very long day. But from that episode, you get the understanding that Duck isn't going to take any rubbish from anyone. Duck is going to stand his ground, and Duck is just going to do good work. Like I said, I don't know how he's portrayed in All Engines Go. I'm almost fearful to go and find out. He's also in Cranky Bugs, and that's one of my favourite episodes. It's just, you know, it's in a sense a darker sort of episode, but the darker episodes are often the best ones. And the other one he's in, it's a classic episode, it's in Series 2 as well, and it's called A Close Shave for Duck. It's also from the Railway series books as well. And in the beginning of that story, you don't see it, but Diesel is saying bad things about Duck to the other engines, saying that basically Duck's not doing his work and Duck's all trouble and all the rest of it. Just Diesel doing his dirty, oily things, which is what Diesel should be doing. I know he's not dirty and oily enough in All Engines Go. So Duck's not very happy that Diesel's spreading all these rumours. He feels upset, so he goes out for a ride all by himself just to get some fresh air and blow off some steam. He comes across a runaway train. It's got troublesome trucks and other vans. Somehow, in the magic of Thomas and Friends, he ends up in front of that train, and it's going to be a collision with another train that's stopped at a station. But somehow Duck gets in front, gets his brakes on, and then the other magic of Thomas and Friends, one of the switches just before the train station is switched, and sends Duck down a siding, and he crashes into a barber shop. It's a great crash. He ends up, all these funny things happen within the barber shop. He ends up getting shaving cream on his face. And it sets up these little moments in Thomas and Friends that are the classic moments. What's very interesting is if you pull up on YouTube and see those camel humps and what people watch over and over, it's all those classic moments. It's all the crashes, it's the troublesome trucks playing up, it's when the engines are doing wacky stuff. Now when you look at All Engines Go on YouTube, the ones that you can watch freely, there's no camel humps of people watching the good stuff in those episodes, because in essence there is no good stuff. There's nothing that you want to watch for a second, third, fourth, fifth time. The most disappointing aspect of All Engines Go, just forgetting the engines, is the way they distorted the Fat Controller's character. In the real series, I'll call it the classic series, he is strong but fair in the way he treats the trains. He can be very stern and scary in a sense. But in All Engines Go, they have distilled that character to being a complete and utter joke. It's almost like he has these little nervous breakdowns. I don't understand why they've destroyed the Fat Controller's character so much. But once you've destroyed a major character like that, the rest of the show is going to implode. Okay, I will run Duck around on the turntable with some of the rolling stock from the motorised sets, because it all runs on the same track, it all connects together. That's the magic these days of how the system works. And look, some people say scale doesn't matter and certain people don't notice it, but I think it's very important. But if you take a look at this going around here, maybe you're quite comfortable with it. Just going over the back there, won't spend too much time on this. Yeah, to me, they just look a bit too big, like way too big. But maybe you see it differently. If I do one of these slower passing shots, you get a better bend on it, if the turntable's going to play good for me. Okay, there it goes. Maybe it's okay, maybe I'm just being too critical for my own good. In the digging through boxes for this video, I came across this. This is great. This is back early classic Trackmaster hit toy company before Mattel grabbed hold of it. This is post Tomy, the stuff that was being sold at the time. I remember seeing in store, and I remember it clearly, just sitting there and not selling. I think Duck's about to crash in the background. Some of this stuff I've got are the bits that I haven't got. In fact, there's a lot here I haven't got. Okay, I remember seeing all these in store. Wow, the memories, eh? If only I grabbed it all back then. Okay, the remote control stuff. It all seems so funky. White running boards and things. There were discussion on Extreme Trains video about when did white running boards start and stop, or if Mattel ever did them. Well, this is Hit Toy Company, okay? Did Mattel ever do white running boards on the stuff? I'm still investigating that and trying to dig deep into my Thomas collection, but this is, in a sense, the glory days. And while I've been yabbering, it looks like the thing that's got no name is playing up and it's going to stop. But I think I might save this train wreck before it gets any worse. Okay, yes, okay. So I think I've said enough about Duck. I've just got a funny feeling I'm going to get in trouble for saying what I said.
Frippin' hell! I feel frippin' naked without my hat, and this loser stole my hat, and he thinks it's from one of the cat's toys. Give me a frippin' break! That elf has still got his hat on! I'm the one with no hat, and he's stolen it, and he's put it on his frippin' bench over there! I mean, how the hell am I gonna get it out of there? I have to go over there one time and steal it! Oh god, and this frippin' loser talking about this old duck hurdles, tag-alongs, taking plays. Frippin' forget it, that was bygone eras. All that stuff's gone, and I don't care how much it was, just be grateful that the duck of today's frippin' very cheap. Go and buy it because it's gonna help Mattel before their share price totally collapses. Come here and I'll tell you a little secret. Come here very carefully, because I don't look good without a hat. This frippin' loser, he was panicking when he got lost in the shopping centre. I got reports he nearly had to call the police. But guess what? His phone was nearly crapping out, and that made him panic even more. And you remember who updated his phone? It was me. I can massive his head no matter where he is. Anyway, to finish off the video, let's go back a video, and I'm going to show you how I smashed up that frippin' Thomas with Mario Thomas in slow motion, because you know why? I have the edit control. And I'll tell you one last thing. This guy frippin' knows nothing. Frippin' hell, hurts when you haven't got a hat on. Hey, look at this stuff here. Woo. Okay, maybe this frippin' loser's got a point. This looks pretty good. I would frippin' know nothing.